All right, here we have a 1999 Mercedes-Benz E300 with a very dirty OM606 turbo engine. This car has 360,000 miles, which in kilometers is a lot, almost 500,000, somewhere around there. And what we're going to do today to it, everything on this car is stock, and we are going to swap out the injection pump for one of our own Benz injection built EDC pumps. This particular one has our 8mm Benz injection elements in it. So we're going to kind of explain how you would do this step by step. Just real quick, the gist of it, what we're going to do is we're going to take off the intake manifold, which has T40 bolts all along there. We're going to remove the vacuum pump, which is right underneath this hose down inside there, and you need to remove that in order to remove a screw that goes on the front of the pump in here, and also to be able to mount on the 3 legs of the injection pump. And also we're going to time it. This radiator hose will get it out of the way. We're going to try to do it with everything else still installed. It is kind of tricky reaching in there and whatnot, but we'll show you that. All right, so we've been working on the injection pump. You can see we got all these lines off. They're 14mm. We got the 17mm bolt that goes in the back. We got the lift pump off down here. The problem that we have now, and we actually run into this quite often when we work on assembling engines for customers, is first of all, these always break, but second of all is this is a T30. There's one right there and one right there. They like to strip. Either somebody before you did, or yeah, we just run into issues with them. So we planned on reusing this for the video. No can do. We can't get it off, so we're just going to replace it with a shut-off valve delete plate that we produce. And also, I've never seen this before, but check that out. Let's see if you can get in there. There we go. The fuel heater, it's all melted. This is plastic, and it's all just melted apart. I've never seen that before. But we also sell a block-off plate to delete those, because it's another failure point. We want to make this as reliable and simple as possible. But we weren't planning on doing that either for this video, but it looks like we're going to have to delete that as well, because that's obviously not how it's intended to work. So we're going to go with those parts. We're going to replace the fuel heater with just a flat plate. Basically, what this does is you have your fuel comes from the tank and it comes through here, and this is a heat exchanger. So when your coolant is hot, it'll heat your fuel. But if your engine is cold, it doesn't do any good. And the fuel heats up by itself when it's running through all this injection cycle and back to the tank and through your injector lines and returning. It heats up anyways with the engine. So this is kind of pointless. It's just a failure point. It can leak. So we're going to replace that. So to start working on the front of the engine where you're going to remove the vacuum pump, what you need to do is, this is a spring tensioner, and you're just going to remove this bolt that runs through it. It's a 13mm, unless someone's replaced it with something else, but factory it should be a 13. And then this bolt just pops back, and what we usually do is we get the back of the socket wrench, stick it in there, and then you can use that as like a pry bar to give you some leverage, like that, and then that bolt will come right out. And now you have that loose, and you can pull off the spring to where it gets out of the way, because down there, this spring is in front of one of the screws that you need to remove the vacuum pump. You can kind of see it down there. So you got to be able to loosen the tensioner to get it out of the way. So we're going to do that. When you're working on the front, you want to remove this coolant hose and just move it out of the way. You'll lose, I don't know, 2 or 3 cups of coolant. Just make sure you replace that when you're done. And then you're going to use a 5mm Allen to remove 6 bolts on the vacuum pump. They're kind of a pain to reach. Takes a lot of wiggling and squeezing and whatnot, but they'll come out. And then after that, we're going to remove 3 13mm long bolts, and they go from here all the way to here, to the front of the injection pump. That's what those square ones are. They go on a bolt that goes all the way through the engine. Next, we got all the bolts loose, so you're just going to pull that loose. It's the only thing that kind of holds the hose in place. And then the vacuum pump, you're just going to kind of wiggle it out of the way. You can remove, that's a 19 right there. You can do that if you want to do that when it's still installed, but you're just going to kind of wiggle it out of the way. It has this gasket on the front, and yep, just move it out of the way like that. And now inside of here, down there in the center, is a 17 millimeter reverse thread. See, it has an L on it. That means it's reverse head throw. So instead of it being righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, this is lefty-locky, righty-releasey. Next, what you need to do is you need to time the engine for your install. So on the injection pump, you're going to get a 17 millimeter, and you're going to remove this bolt. And inside of there, we're looking for a timing marker, and I'll show you what that looks like on the new one. And then you're going to need to turn the crank. So it's easiest to get underneath there if you haven't removed like the radiator, shroud, and things like that. You get underneath the engine, and you're going to stick either a breaker bar or a really long socket wrench with a 27 millimeter or a 1/1/16 to turn the crank to where you can get it in the right timing. We'll show you how to do that. All right, so there's a couple ways to verify timing. What I like to do is you look in here, and on this, the teeth inside the oil cap fill, see how there's a teeth? We're looking for a little dot that's going to show up right there. So you're just going to spin the crank, be watching up here. And the reason why we do this is because the crank spins twice for every one rotation of the injection pump. So we could have the timing on the crank correct, but the injection pump will be backwards. It'll be off 180 degrees. So I'll show you what the little dot looks like that we're trying to find up here, and we just do that. It has nothing to do with timing, but it just lets us know when we're on the right stroke. Okay, found it. Finally. All right, so there's our little mark that we're looking for. It's this little dot right there. So that dot doesn't mean that we stop and we're done or anything like that. All that dot does is tell you, okay, you're coming up on the right stroke. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look down inside, all the way down there. It's really hard to see, but our timing marker is, there you go. Okay, so there's our numbers, and the graph just barely started appearing. So it says 40 and then 30, so keep going. There is 20, there's 10, there's 0. So now we're going to go really, really slow until there's 4, 5, a little bit more, 6, 7, 8, a little bit more, 9, a little bit more, tiny bit more. Right there, we're at 10. Okay, you can see 0T over there. Come on, camera, come on, focus. There you go. You can see 0T over there, and then right where the marker is, all covered in water and oil and junk, it's at 10. Okay, and that's where we want to stop, 10 degrees after top dead center. And what you can do also is remove that 17 millimeter, and then if you look inside of there, that white line, it's going to be a little bit up because factory timing is 14.5 degrees after top dead center, I believe, and we advance it a little bit because we're installing larger elements, so we go to 10. So here we are with the reverse thread, so you're going to turn it to the right to unloosen it. It's a 17 millimeter. And it will kind of snap, as you can see. It's probably never been touched. So we just rotate it a couple times to get it loose, and then you can hand thread it out the rest of the way. And this is a connector back here for the EDC pump. You can just stick a screwdriver in there. You can get it in. There we go. And it pops out like that. And wiggle it free. And then just follow the cord. And you're gonna release it under all of that. It's just sitting on these. And you can see what that looks like. So you're just gonna remove that cord to where it's loose. And then lastly, we've already removed the 3 13 millimeters on the front, the one right there, the one over there, and the one down below. And on the back of the injection pump, there is a little bracket that is right there. So you can either remove 2 10 millimeters, or you can remove one, it should be a 13, which is already removed in this. And so now it should be free to wiggle its way out. It just takes a lot of shaking and wiggling and whatnot, but we'll work on that. So now just kind of shake it to free it, and it's kind of tricky getting everything out of the way. At this point, it's just do what you got to do to get things out of the way. It has a bracket over there that's kind of tricky, and then it has this harness holder, whatever you want to call it. So, and then also these fuel lines on the top like to get stuck in the way. So yeah, just kind of wiggling and twisting and turning until you can get it out. Almost there. Voila! So here is that injection pump that we just removed. Pretty nasty. The little timing marker. Let's see if you can see it now. Barely see it down inside there. That's the little mark that we were talking about. And it'll move when you're uninstalling it. It won't ever be perfectly centered. So what we're going to do next with the one that we're going to install, this nice clean one, bigger elements, there you should be able to see the timing marker in there, and you're going to get a tool that looks like this, and this is just to lock it in place so that it doesn't move. So you can see this has a notch to let you know where it is. You're just going to kind of push it down and turn it, and there I know that it is in place. You can put a rag on here and then get like some vice grips and turn it. You don't want to just do metal on metal because you'll damage these teeth, but you can do that to make sure that it's tight. Or if you need to spin this, when we ship them, we try to ship them where this is in the right location, like it's already in the middle, and then you just need to barely tweak it to get it where you need it. But that's in place right there. So you're just going to secure this. This is just to where it won't move while you're installing it. And now we're just going to go ahead and install it, reverse order. Now we're going to install the shutoff valve delete plate, which is this. This is a rebuilt injection pump with 8 millimeter Benz injection elements. So here's our pre-assembled shutoff delete plate, and pretty self-explanatory. You just slide it on there, kind of squeeze it down, get it into place, and then we're going to tighten these bolts right here until they're nice and secure. That's all there is to it. So now we're ready to install. The facing of the injection pump down there, you can see it's real dirty, so we want to clean that off. Get like a wire brush. Just make sure you don't let anything fall into the engine right there. And then this O-ring, sometimes this O-ring will stay on the pump itself, or sometimes it'll stay on the engine. You just want to remove that and throw it away, because we are going to send you a new one with your pump. Just get all that cleaned up and ready to install. What we're going to do next to route the fuel is our lift pump here that we left dangling. We're going to cut this side off right here where this ends, and we're going to leave the plastic over this. The reason why is because the hose back here that originally went to your fuel heater, that in this case we're deleting, which we advise even if you just want to leave it there and disconnect it, we recommend it. It's prone to leaks and doesn't really do a whole lot of good because of what I explained about it having to use hot coolant to heat the fuel. This hose is your feed hose of fuel from the tank. So we're going to put it right onto here. So we're just going to cut this off and then put that hose right on there. And then this is where it sucks it in, it pressurizes it, sends it here to your fuel filter housing out of here. And you can see right there, this is the end where it would normally go onto your shutoff, and we're just going to have it go right here to our shutoff delete. So the same thing, we're going to cut the hose right above where the part is, about right here. Then we're going to slide a piece of hose over to connect our banjo to this. So here we have everything ready to go. We have the fuel routed properly. We've bled the system. We have our shutoff valve. There we go. Nice smooth idle. If I rev it a little bit. There we go. So this is once again an 8mm Benz injection pump. It's the stock ECU, stock turbo. So this can be done. Obviously, if you have a bigger element injection pump, you want a bigger turbo, probably a better manifold. You want a tuned ECU, all those good stuff. This video is just to demonstrate that if you wanted to just get a bigger element injection pump first, say your injection pump, your stock one is failing or something, you need a new one, but you don't want to upgrade everything else yet, you just want to keep the stock one on, you can do that. It'll run perfectly fine. There we go. Thanks for watching.